coming at you live from the Coppell Chevrolet GMC studio and online at theticketfm.com.
Good evening and welcome into Ticket Weeknights on a Wednesday. I am Jake Sorensen, and this is the Teammates Mentoring Hour, one of our favorite hours of the entire week. Just a lot of great stories about mentors and mentees for a great organization here in Lincoln and across the state, which of course is Teammates, started by Tom and Nancy Osborne. It's been fun. I was here last week with Doc Chavez and Zeke, and it was fun to hear their stories. And Tonight, we've got more great stories ahead, and I see a familiar face to me from back in the past. Jeremy Foote, formerly with UNL, now with Company Cam, is here with us. You are a Teammates mentor. Thank you for being here tonight. Appreciate it.
Glad to be here.
And we are here with your mentee, who is Marilyn John.
Oh, not my mentee.
Oh, excuse
I'm
me.
also
I'm sorry. My bad. Pardon me. Another mentor, Marilyn John, who and you've been with Teammates for how long now?
Oh, gosh. I think 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
Awesome. And Jeremy, how long have you been with my Teammates for?
I've had two different cycles. The first one, I was around for, I think, 4 years. And then I was out of it for a little bit. And now I've been back for, I believe, 6 years.
6 years. Okay.
So, about the same total.
Yeah.
And we have a third guest here also. That is Stacy Bleisek. Okay. You are a match support specialist with Teammates.
Correct.
And how long have you been with Teammates for?
6 years.
6 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Awesome. So what I've learned last week in my time here is, again, when I talked with Doc and Zeke, they had been doing, they were matched up when he was in high school. They were still actually, talking now. Zeke is in college. So you both are mentors. So I guess I'll start with, whoever wants to go. I'll start with you, Marilyn, in terms of the reason why you got into Teammates, and so far just kind of your favorite stories that you've had in terms of your experiences through Teammates and the mentorship you've had.
Yeah. So I started at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, and my freshman year, I was doing a ton of volunteering and tracking my hours for scholarships and, college things. And I was putting in a ton of time, but at the end of the year, I didn't feel like I made a huge impact, right? I was going and cleaning up, different campuses for nonprofits, doing yard work, but I would just leave at the end of that shift and, track my hour. And so I was talking to a friend about this, and she's the one that told me about Teammates mentoring. And I'm so glad that I got into it. They paired me with someone that was in middle school, so we still had quite a bit of an age gap, which I think that a lot of college students don't think, like, I'm not old enough to mentor.
Sure.
But I definitely got a ton of benefit from that relationship that I developed. I followed her from 6th grade all the way through high school, and we actually still are doing Teammates Plus. She's in nursing school, about to graduate. So that's why I got into it, just to, see a long-term impact of my volunteer hours. And I'm really relationship oriented. So I really enjoyed building that relationship.
So you mentioned that you got into that in college. It was something where, and I guess talk about that, because in terms of people, I think they want to have more life experience before they think they're actually good enough to be a mentor. But you took on that challenge and that opportunity in college, when some people might wait till they're 25, 30 or beyond when they have more life experience. Why did you feel like that was the time then? And how have you learned, how have you grown in your mentorship from then to now?
Yeah. Good question. So I would say my friend encouraged me to apply. And in that application process, you say what your interests are, and the folks at the Teammates office that do the matching, I was just upfront with them. Like, I don't necessarily have work advice or any specific industry that they might be interested in that I'm super knowledgeable in, but I have gotten into college. I have gotten good grades. And so I could help someone, learn time management skills and just things that as a student. And they did a really good job matching me with someone that fit my interests and what I could offer them.
So that would be on you. You help match her, obviously, with Marilyn, with a great person. So in terms of your role in matching here, I guess how Is it easy? Is it hard? Like, what all goes into matching a mentee with the proper mentor, making sure they're all squared away off the bat?
Yes, very good question. Is it easy? Is it hard? It can be both. So as a match support specialist, I'm really the person that supports the match after they've been made, but I am involved heavily in the training aspect of new mentors. So when I'm training new mentors, I'm asking questions in training about their interests and their lacks. During the introductions, I'm asking them to share with us, what are your interests? What are your strengths? What are you good at? What do you like to do? And I'm taking notes of all that. And then when it comes time for us to assign those mentors to a school, we have around 70 schools, I think it is, just in Lincoln, because we include parochial schools. So we have to hunt to see, where should we send this mentor?
Okay.
And sometimes it's easy because they will tell us we can travel within 2 miles radius, and this is where I'm leaving from. So we look at the schools in that area and we pull up all the students that are waiting at those schools to have a mentor. And then we look at their interests. Sometimes it's really easy to say, oh, look, like in Marilyn's case, I don't know where we had you originally. You said middle school you started. And so we looked at the middle schools and saw that there was a mentee waiting, or a student waiting. She wasn't a mentee yet, and had similar interests that Marilyn had. And so then we would send a mentor to the school thinking that this would be a possible match. Sometimes there's more than one student waiting who would be a very good match with this one mentor. So then it's up to the facilitator at the school to decide. They know the students the best, then they get to meet the mentor and they get to decide who might be the best fit.
So it's a pretty interesting process there. Then it's not just, hey, go make it work. We try to make sure there's actually a method to the madness here.
Exactly.
Making it work. Jeremy, you were involved before. Now you got back into it a couple years ago. So tell us a little bit about why you got into it initially, why you took a pause, and why you got back in. If there's a reason to it, or just you missed it, or what kind of went into that for you?
So when I initially joined, and going back to what you started with, so I worked in athletic department, University of Nebraska. So not only, I was aware of TeamMates, but at the time, Coach Osborne was the athletic director, and it was a big push of his to encourage employees to get involved in TeamMates. So I'd always been interested in, but I think that was just like the extra push to say, hey, let me try this out. And I kind of settled in my job, so I thought it was a good time for me to do that. So I got matched with a student at a local elementary school not far from campus. Followed him, I think he was maybe in like 3rd or 4th grade. Followed him into middle school, and then after one of the years, I thought we had a good connection. He just decided he wasn't interested anymore, which happens. I'm sure she deals with that. I don't know if it's as they get older, they don't want to have a teammate anymore. They think they're too cool for it. Regardless, I wasn't upset about it.
Okay.
It's fine.
And took it well.
Yeah,
you took it well.
About that time was when we had our first child, and so I think I just didn't dive right back in. And then I think I kept getting emails every year like, "Hey, are you ready?
You want to come back?
Ready? Are you ready to come back?" And I was pretty busy at work, and that was part of it. Is I didn't know if I had adequate. I traveled a lot for work.
Sure.
And I wanted to make sure if I'm going to make a connection with someone, make sure that I'm there on a weekly basis for them. And I think, as you know, I used to work at the baseball team, and in the spring, there'd be weeks where I didn't want to go
three or 4 weeks
without, being able to be at the school. So I didn't feel like it was fair. I switched out of jobs, wasn't traveling as much my last couple of years at UNL. And so I got back into it. And so now, I started with another student in elementary school. I think we were there for 2 years, and now he's in 8th grade. He'll be at high school next year. We actually just we meet on Wednesdays, so we met this morning. And it's been great. Obviously, the last couple years with COVID has been a little bit a struggle, especially the one year where we basically only met till like March, and then didn't meet the rest of the year, and then didn't meet in the summer, and then I think we even paused a little bit the following fall. But that's probably the hardest break, is going from like end of school year to the next school year, because you don't see them for like 3 months. And I'm sure that can be kind of difficult on them too. They're used to having that constant connection. And then they do provide something though. You can email throughout the summer. So we've done some of that.
Yeah, I was curious because I've heard stories about it goes great to the end of the school year, take a couple months off, and getting back into it. In your experiences, Marilyn, in terms of that, has it been pretty smooth getting back to it after the summer months, or is it kind of like you get to know each other after a few months off? What is it usually like when it comes to a mentor and a mentee coming back off of that summer pause?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I feel like 3 months is so much for kids that age. And so it's actually really exciting to come back in the fall. And they have you wait a little bit, let the students get settled back into their routine. And so we actually don't see them until September. And I had the pause as well, where we only met over Zoom during that 2020 school year. And that was really exciting to see her in person. We finally got to hug again. And even though there's masks and everything, I mean, it's just like so much energy. So I kind of appreciate the summer months as a time to take a break. You can still communicate with them, especially my current teammate. I'm also on like my third student now. She is a junior at Lincoln High, and her birthday is in the summer. So I always try to send a note over those summer months just so she knows I'm thinking of her.
And and for you, in terms of you mentioned it's kind of it usually has gone well for you, but what would you, I guess, tell a teammate's mentor in how to make it smooth over the summer months to make sure when you come back in August it is not like relearning the person?
Yeah, I mean, the email option is really nice, especially if they're a little bit older. I mean, email communication, if you're matched with like a second grader, probably isn't going to happen.
Right.
But
Yes.
I mean, I think a lot of they
Well,
stay
it's email, right?
Yeah.
At that point.
they stay so busy in the summer that I'm sure they probably don't even notice. But it is fun when you get back because it's kind of like getting to see. I mean, it is seeing someone you haven't seen for a long time, so it like they just tell you everything they did over the summer, and it actually makes that first meeting a lot easier because it's not so much of the like, hey, let's get to know each other again. They just talk the entire time about all the stuff they did.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I think it's just I don't know. I wouldn't say it's an issue. I haven't struggled with it at all.
I want to go back to something you said earlier in your first time doing mentoring, Jeremy, because you mentioned that your mentee kind of thought he maybe aged out of it. How often does that work? Is there a coolness factor to that, or because I've heard some people start in high school and some people might end in high school. How do you go about that? Saying when is the proper time to take a mentee on, and is it ever actually a smart idea for a mentee to get out, or a notion that makes sense for them?
Yeah, that might be a good question for Stacy. I mean, when I started, I said that I would want to start with someone younger, just because I felt like, not that I wouldn't mentor someone that's in high school, but I thought it would be better for like a relationship to start at a younger age and grow that throughout. I don't know. I mean, you're on the other side of it. Maybe you have some more data or information on kind of how often that happens.
It really varies. It doesn't happen terribly often.
Okay.
But I would say we have a handful of mentees every year that decide either the transition from elementary to middle school. We get some of those middle schoolers who decide they don't want to mentor anymore. And then also from middle school to high school during that transition. I would say the more common reason is because those kids either get really involved in other activities and they don't really have the mental space necessarily, or they just are very heavily involved in school academics. They don't want to miss classes. I've heard that too. And I do think some of it is, I know we've also had these situations where students don't want to miss their friend time if they meet over lunch, even though it's only once a week that they meet their mentor. If it happens to be over lunch, sometimes they just don't want to give up their friend time to meet with their mentor over that period. So lots of different reasons. It's not something that happens frequently, but it does happen.
No,
sorry, I have had that concern before of like my current mentor, he leaves class. We used to meet over lunch period. And then this year he's actually leaves a class. And so I do feel a little guilty that he's basically missing a class every week. But the facilitator at his school basically at the beginning of the year said, here's the blocks where I think you guys are available to meet. Tell me what works best. And I just said, honestly, I've had the ability to be pretty open at work. So I was like, you tell me what's best for him, because I don't, like she said, I don't want him to miss out on class that he needs to be in on.
Now, you, Stacy, you have a mentee that's coming on graduation here soon.
Correct.
So obviously, you talk with them at least once a week. That's part of the deal here. But when you have 3 months to go to graduation, what's going through their head right now, and what are you telling them about, hey, the next chapter in life?
Yes, we're talking about the next chapter.
I'm sure you
actually.
are. Is it being received well?
Yes. My mentee and I have a really great connection. She and I were matched about 4 months before I started working for TeamMates. And so we've been together for 6 years. In fact, our anniversary is next Friday. Our match anniversary.
Right. Match anniversary.
Yes. So we were talking today, actually. We also meet on Wednesdays, and talking about what it'll look like after high school graduation. She would not, if you asked her, she would say, I do not want to miss a week seeing Stacy. And the class she gets out of is not a core class. I actually don't remember which one it is. And so it's something that she can easily stay caught up in, just missing one time a week. And she would definitely not want to skip seeing me every week. I just know
biggest part of the week, right?
I know, and honestly, it's my highlight too. But she's told me that before, and so we're looking forward to. She's planning to go to SEC at this point, and she said, yeah, Stacy and I are going to keep hanging out after I graduate, and we're going to get to go to lunch and do things outside of school. So she's looking forward to that.
I assume you are as well.
Definitely.
That's great.
Definitely.
And Marilyn, you said you've had 2 mentees graduate or go through graduation. You have a junior right now in high school. So I guess with the 2 that previously have graduated, I'm sure it's probably quite a bit of pride for you from being a part of their life for so long. I mean, when they finally get to that end with graduation, like, what goes through your head and all the memories that you had in the years prior with them?
This is where I'm going to try to not get choked up.
I didn't mean, I don't want anybody to cry tonight. I'm sorry. Just trying to ask proper questions here.
Right. They're great questions. My first teammate, she and I, like I said, started when she was in middle school. So we had a really solid relationship by the time she was graduating high school. And she was actually the first person in her family who wanted to go to college. And she had some struggles with like getting all that paperwork in. And I knew from day one that she was going to graduate high school. That was not the issue, even though I know that's a huge goal of TeamMates with their pairings, is to get kids to high school graduation. I knew that the biggest struggle was to be with her through college and getting her into college and having that support system for her there. And so seeing her at high school graduation, I went and I met her family, and it just was like a moment I'll never forget. And then I've obviously like seen her through to nursing school, which was her big dream. And it's taken her a little longer than she expected, but she's doing it. She's doing great. Then my second mentee, I actually just had her junior and senior year. Her mentor had to stop mentoring. And so I jumped in to see her through to high school graduation, and she got a scholarship through TeamMates. So that was also a really great point of pride. I got to go to the University of Nebraska Lincoln at the Lead Center. They had this really cool ceremony. We got some pictures taken. It was really cool. So that's why I keep coming back is moments like that.
It's awesome. And TeamMates Plus, with that being said, has been, tell us the difference of how communication goes from regular TeamMates through high school to TeamMates Plus, which is, college and beyond.
Yeah. So TeamMates Plus, TeamMates, you communicate to your mentor at the school through facilitators or through the emails, through the TeamMates staff. So it's controlled. I don't know a better word to use, like a
supervised.
There you go.
Supervised. And that's great. And then when it's TeamMates Plus, though, then you get to text your teammate, and it's a little more loosey-goosey. You get to check in on them whenever you would like and just give life updates on the fly. I love that aspect. It doesn't even feel like mentoring anymore. It just feels like we grew this great relationship, and we're going to continue with this like formal structure of documenting our relationship through TeamMates Plus. But really, we would do it anyway.
It's a friendship.
Yeah.
It's a friendship. Mentorship become a friendship. That's, I mean,
Yeah.
we hear the stories all the time. I always find interesting in terms of the interests that people are matched up with. So, Jeremy, back to you again. You worked in the field of sports for a long time. You're a sports guy. Baseball guys where you worked at, but I'm sure you like multiple sports too. So when you were getting a mentee, obviously you want to make sure it's a great match for you. What are the things that have attracted mentees to you that have worked in terms of conversation and interests?
I mean, I kind of treated it more as somewhat the relationship I have with my children is it would be great if they're into the stuff that I'm into, but that shouldn't be like the number one priority. I'm more interested in like what they're interested in, and then, being there to talk with them about that. So I also like video games.
Okay,
my
there we
mentee
go.
right now
There we
really
go.
likes video games, so
Middle
that's an
school, perfect right there, right?
Yeah, so that's an easy thing for me to talk with him about. But if he was into something else that I really didn't know about, I would take it upon myself to try and learn about that so I can be there to have those conversations with him. Or, I mean, I'm sure as he gets older, there's going to be other things he gets into that obviously weren't even probably around when I was in high school.
Right.
So
you got to stay young, right? You got to stay young and hip.
It'll help keep me hip. But yeah, like you said, I mean, obviously it would be easy if we were just into the same stuff, but I don't think it's not about me. It's more about being there for them and being there to have conversations with them. And I would say the other thing is like, I definitely talk to mine about school and how they're doing, but that's not something I really discuss with them a lot. Maybe once they get into high school, will be more. I mean, I ask them, how's school going? If they have questions about things, I'll give some insight, but I don't ever want him to feel like I'm there to like, hey, so what's your grades in school? How are you doing? Or are you getting this stuff done? Like, I don't feel like that's my place. So I'm just there to hang out with him for an hour. We play board games, or today I brought our Nintendo Switch and we played that. Or if he wants to talk about video games for now, we do that. So kind of just leave it up to him what he wants to do each week.
What have your time periods been like usually when you go for the week or for your weeks there?
Yeah, my current mentee, the junior that's at Lincoln High, she's a social butterfly. So she's either telling me about her next date or her friends, or we usually will play Uno, and now there's a new Uno flip that's really fun that I got for Christmas, and so I bring that every week. And she's just really competitive and outgoing, and so we just like to play games and really get into that.
And yourself, Stacy? Similar story?
Yes, very similar. The cool thing I wanted to say, I was thinking about this when Jeremy was talking about his wanting to be interested in whatever his mentee's interested in. As we build relationships and we meet with our mentees each week, it's really cool that just by having fun, like Jeremy said, we're not there to check on their homework and make sure they're doing everything they're supposed to do.
Mhm.
And what happens is over time, this trust is developed. And then one day your mentee is having a horrible day. And then you're there to support them. They open up to you because you've had all those days of fun and getting to know one another. And even the days that you leave thinking, well, that wasn't very remarkable today. Like, we didn't have any really great conversation. Because other days you're like, wow, that was so cool. I really felt connected. But it all adds up. And then that day comes when your mentee's having a rough day, or there's a challenge or in their life that they just need someone to talk to. And then you're there for them. And it's so cool. And I think that's what even strengthens the bond even more. So
yeah, I mean, I think I think back to my time in high school, middle school. I came from a good family, a good set of parents, but just even having that the potential to have a mentor back then would have been awesome. I kind of envy those who had you guys to go in there and meet with them and talk video games and talk sports and talk about being a social butterfly, all the rumors going on, all the stuff in high school. It'd be kind of cool to have that from a grown up, somebody you can look up to. So it's very commendable. When we come back, we will have more stories. If you have any questions, please call or text 402-464-5685 about the TeamMates mentoring program. We'll have more of that next here on Ticket Weeknights on 937 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Don't go anywhere. More of the TeamMates Mentoring Hour is minutes away on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
If your home isn't delivering the year-round comfort you expect, call the experts at Bryant. Warm and cool, comfort and confidence. Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating. Call 467-1111.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your first alert weather forecast tonight: cloudy, windy, and cold. Overnight lows 13. North winds gusting to 30. Becoming sunny by the afternoon Thursday, but a cold day. Highs 28, and north winds gusting to 35. I'm NTV Chief Forecaster Ken Fountain for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers is all about the good and creating more of it. More drive-through celebrations, more weekend traditions, more family dinners and lunches, more car picnics and road trips, more desserts, maybe more second desserts, more celebrating being together as much as we can. There's always room for more good and more Freddy's. Keep the good going with a taste that brings you back.
You spend more time in your garage than outdoors in the wintertime. Isn't it time to get it organized? Call Travis at Classic Garage Solutions for his variety of organization packages. Turn your garage from a cluttered mess to a clean, organized space that'll be the envy of the neighborhood and something you can be proud of. You don't need to bring the same clutter from last year into the new year. Travis has storage options for cabinets, monkey bar shelving, or slat wall, and more. Call Classic Garage Solutions today at 402-730-1638.
Happy Hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary.
You just kind of feel a little more settled with a guy like Trev Alberts leading the way. I think that's a big part of it.
Trev Alberts is like a mix of the two. He knows the business side of it. He knows what needs to get done, how to make money, how to spend money, etc. You know, whatever you got to do there as an athletic director. Then on the personal level, he wants to get to know the coaches.
I think a good description for Trev is that he understands how important relationships are.
Weekdays from 2 to 3 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC. And things have obviously been pretty challenging lately with new vehicles, with all the microchip and supply chain issues, but things continue to loosen up as Coppell gets more and more new vehicles in each and every week. We've had many customers also custom order their vehicles. So if you don't see what you want in our current inventory, we can put an order in to get exactly what you want. So go online, reserve your new vehicle at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did.
Gray Diesel and Equipment Services is hiring and seeking motivated applicants. Gray offers a second-to-none benefit package that includes health, dental, vision, 401k, paid vacation, and paid holidays. They offer great pay and tuition reimbursement or a tool purchase program for qualified candidates. It's a fun, friendly team with lots of variety and work assignments, so there's something for everybody. View and apply for their job openings today at grayusa.com or visit them in person just off I-80 and North 56th Street. Come be a part of the Gray difference.
Based right here in Lincoln, Mosaic in Southeast Nebraska is part of a nonprofit, whole-person healthcare organization that serves people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Mosaic's mission is to relentlessly pursue opportunities to empower people. By providing truly personalized services, this empowerment ranges from helping someone communicate for the first time to helping another gain enough independence to secure a job. If you would like to learn more about Mosaic in Southeast Nebraska's services or to donate, please go to mosaicinfo.org/Southeast Nebraska.
This is the TeamMates Mentoring Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are back on Ticket Weeknights. This is the Teammates Mentoring Hour on 93.7 The Ticket. I am Jake Sorensen, joined again by Jeremy Foote, Marilyn John, and Stacy Bleisek, all here representing the great organization that is Teammates Mentoring. I mentioned before the break, Marilyn, I want to talk to you about this because you work at Huddle right now. And when I was talking to Teammates to set this show up back in December, I love the fact that they said they work with some companies that encourage, like it's part of the fabric of the company that they want you to be involved. In the middle of the day, leave. It's almost like it's an obligation. Hey, we need you to go mentor. When you're at Huddle, is that, thinking about that in terms of being told basically go mentor in the middle of the day, is that, how unique is that to you? And how much does that make you enjoy the company that you work at also?
Yeah, I mean, that was huge because I have been at Huddle for 2.5 years now, and I came from another organization that was also really supportive of me leaving work to go mentor in the middle of the day or start my day with that. So being in the middle of being paired up with someone, I didn't want to end that relationship. I wanted to continue it. And so I probably wouldn't have gone to Huddle if they weren't as supportive. So to all you companies out there trying to recruit, Great Resignation, it's time to support that flexible work style. And yeah, I mean, when I started at Huddle, we only really mentioned 3 organizations during onboarding, and TeamMates is one of them. So it's huge. It's really huge for me.
Yeah, I mean, Jeremy, in terms, you mentioned again before in the past with the baseball team, you didn't have a lot of time. You felt guilty even trying to be a mentor because you didn't have time for it. But do you feel more time now to be able to fulfill and be a great mentor in your current job?
Yeah, for sure. And much like what she said, like Company Cam is very supportive of that. I mean, I brought that up in when I was getting interviewed. I said, hey, this is what I do every week. And they're like, yeah, that's awesome. Like, please continue to do that. I mean, they actually even track. We have some in some of our software, instead of like requesting vacation, which I wouldn't have to do anyway, but they actually have us put in our volunteer hours just to like kind of track some of that. The culture there is very encouraging of that. So yeah, that would be tough if I worked somewhere that was like maybe not discouraged, but not encouraged at least. And so I appreciate that. Yeah, everywhere I've worked, it's been that's something that they've really supported.
You all have mentioned so far that, this is obviously, it's pretty much a highlight of your week when you go talk to your mentees and how it's, it's awesome. But I guess when I think about like leaving work sometimes, not for mentorship, but anything, if I go recharge my batteries somewhere, do you feel like when you go see your mentees, like you are recharging your own batteries and you come back to work like it's in a better mood? Is that kind of how that goes, Stacy?
Yes. For sure. And when I was first matched with my mentee, I was not a TeamMates. I was in a different position with Lincoln Public Schools in the district office, and my workload got really hectic. I was doing overtime. I think we might have even had some required or requested overtime to just keep up with the demand. And so taking that break once a week was so crucial. It was very, very needed at the time.
Marilyn, do you feel the same way in terms of it kind of recharges your batteries and you feel like refreshed for the rest of the day, maybe even the rest of the week to a certain extent?
100%. Last week I had a tough week at work, and I meet with my mentee on Friday. Fridays I tend to not have meetings. And it was so fun because we use Slack to communicate at work, and we have a TeamMates channel specifically where anyone that mentors or is interested in mentoring can join this channel, and we can all just chat about one topic, TeamMates. And I meet with my mentee during her culinary class, and we have only been able to meet like every other week just because of vacations and stuff. And I accidentally came on a week when she had to do cooking, and you can't really miss cooking in culinary class. So I got invited to do a sample. Right. So I got to try some of their pancakes. And so I took
approved?
Oh, they were so good. They had powdered sugar and everything. So I took a picture and I posted that at work to the TeamMates Slack channel, and just like everyone just, throwing all the emojis on the post, loved it. And it's just encouraging, like, not every week is going to look the same. And that one really, like, it got me out of my head of the, cloud that was my work week and craziness. And it just was fun.
Do you feel like it recharges your batteries too, Jeremy?
Yeah. So this year we always used to meet on Fridays. And then actually when I switched jobs, when I switched from the university to Company Cam, it wasn't going to really match up anymore with some of the meetings I had on Fridays. And so we switched to, we now meet on Wednesdays. And so that's been different, but it's actually, I think, a little bit better because it's that we missed a lot of weekly meetings because a lot of school is off on Fridays. And so I feel like going on Wednesdays has been better because we've actually been getting to meet more often throughout the school year. But then also it's like right in the middle of the week, if you kind of had a bad start to the week, it kind of gives that reset time. So yeah, it's been a good change.
I've been told by some mentors in the past that once you finally get to know your mentee well enough, it could be for a couple of years, could be even for just a couple of months, that although it's seen, we're you guys are the mentors trying to help them and guide them through life and give them good, a good compass, so to speak. that we are not perfect people. We all have off days. We all have off weeks. We all have bad things that happen to us. And sometimes I've heard that when you go for your one visit a week, that maybe a mentee can see that, and they always are almost mentoring you. Have you ever had that experience at all? Any of you guys? I've heard it a couple times. It's I know it's not common, but I've heard a couple times that it's obviously not the goal or the initiative, but we're trying to raise, help the kids and the mentees become better people and better parts of society too. And some take it on and how actually can help the mentors once in a while.
So
have you heard that before? You might be.
Yes. And I'm trying to think of my own experiences.
Okay.
I wouldn't say that I started out, kind of, I just check it at the door if I'm having a rough day, and she doesn't see that.
Okay.
But we've had experiences where I've just, we would be either doing a craft or playing a game, and I would make a mistake, or I'd get down on myself a little bit, or she's really competitive, so I'd make comments about, come on, can you just let me win? And she'd be encouraging to me. So, I mean, I can understand what you're talking about, what you're saying, where it's kind of turned around, and she's been
rarely, once in a while, maybe, right?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that would be the best example that I've had experience with.
I'm curious, Jeremy, you mentioned earlier that you talk about video games with your mentee in middle school. Like that's why I'm kind of asking, like, in terms of you, like, have you learned things about how to become better at certain video games? Like, or like what kind of conversations you end up having when you talk about, or is it about the games you played back in the past and what they are now, or kind of how does that conversation go?
I would say it's usually more I just learn about new things that I'm not just even aware happen that are available. So I think I remember. I mean, he talks about he plays. I'm more of like the console, PlayStation, Xbox type of gaming, but he's a PC gamer, and so a lot of the games that he says he's playing, I sometimes never even heard of. So it's fun to have him explain to me. And I'm like, oh, hey, I used to play a game like this. And then he'll make the comment like, oh, the graphics on that are
oh yeah. But, the comparisons are a little bit different.
I think so there's a service called Discord.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard Discord,
he introduced me to that and explained to me what it was. And I just remember I was like, I have no idea what that is. And I'm sure he was like, oh my gosh, you're so old. But yeah. So, I mean, I learned stuff from him. And then, I mean, I have a son that's 10. He's younger than my mentee, but it'll help me learn stuff so that I'm not so old when I talk to my own kid, I guess. I'm
curious, Marilyn, for you, we mentioned your mentee, the social butterfly. They like to talk. They're into current things. With that being said, if you're into current things, you like to maybe be on TikTok, maybe you like to be in on certain dances, certain things. Like, have you been taught the certain dance moves? Like, what are you learning right now that maybe you could even apply to your life that you've been learning from your mentee and talking about?
We're not dancing.
Not dancing.
Goodness.
Okay, but we're social butterflies. That's why I thought it was fair to ask the question.
Very fair. She had, I've had Snapchat probably since Snapchat came out, but she's teaching me how to use Snapchat because there's like new features that I don't even realize have come out. Different lingo. I can't keep up. It was really disheartening a couple weeks into meeting her when she was a freshman. I was like, oh, I just realized I'm twice your age. Ouch. That hurts. And so tough she just, moment. We go back and forth. She's teasing me about how I don't know things. And I realize that some words are just recycled from other generations, which is nice. But yeah, she's just really teaching me the lingo.
For I do the morning show here on the station, and we have a 22-year-old producer. So 22, he's in college. And there's times he's saying words I don't understand. I'm 30. I'm only 8 years older than him. And so what have you what are some phrases that you've heard that you had to like double check saying what does that mean? Anything that comes to mind that maybe you used to your friends or colleagues at all now?
As simple as it is, bet was a huge thing. She would say it after a lot of sentences, and I was like, what do you mean?
What does that mean?
It means like prove it, or like period. Period. It was a thing too, like at the end of a sentence, period. God, this is embarrassing. But yeah, now I say that all the time. Me and my husband will like text that back and forth.
Bet. Oh, see, use the lingo there.
Prove it. Do it.
Have you had this in middle school with your mentee at all? Any sort of terms you're not exactly familiar with? You got to learn about.
Fortunately, not yet.
Okay, all proper lingo so far.
Yeah. Luckily, I've survived so far.
Yeah. Stacy, anything at all?
No.
You're in the know. You're all in the know here.
Well, my mentee hasn't. She must not be as in the know as Marilyn's mentee is, I guess. I'm
Okay.
not sure.
That's all right.
I've not heard bet before. She probably knows it, but she doesn't use it with me.
Yeah.
So I haven't learned any new
Okay.
lingo.
Maybe it's coming soon. You never know.
You never know.
Marilyn-
I'm going to ask her.
Yeah,
next
Marilyn will know.
Wednesday.
She'll be able to tell you what it all means. You don't have to be
Yes.
embarrassed by it. You
I
can
will be
ask her.
emailing you at Marilyn.
Yes. That's awesome. We'll do this one more time before we get out after our next segment. But real quick, a plug in terms of for those who are curious about how to get involved with teammates. And again, you all have busy lives. You've got kids. You've had several mentees yourself. What is the best way for someone to at least take that first step to get involved? And I guess any sort of goals for them at all?
Yeah. Our website is the best place to start. It's lincolnteammates.org. And there's lots of information. There's stories. We have resources on there. You could really look all around to get a feel for what mentoring is all about. And we have the application is on our website. So if somebody is ready to say yes, and I want to commit to at least 2 years of mentoring, then they can apply. The information is on there about the next steps. There's a training that they have to attend before they're assigned to a school. So it's pretty straightforward. However, if ever they had questions, they can always call the teammates office. We're on our phone number, which is also on the website.
I just feel like, again, if for people out there that don't think they have enough time, from what I hear from pretty much everybody, you guys all in this room and people I've talked to outside, it is not a hassle. It is a release to a certain extent. It is almost like a privilege. You get to talk to these kids once a week in some, and even it can go past that into college. So it is not a hassle. It is a wonderful thing that is that creates a good moment in your weeks and your days and your years, from what I hear.
100%.
So and again, you can also, by the way, if you're on Twitter, you can follow teammates at Mentoring Teammates on Twitter there if you want to learn more information, or go to the website there at Mentor Teammates there. When we come back, we'll have one final segment. We'll just get some final thoughts on why teammates is so important to you guys. We'll give some more plugs in terms of how to get involved. That is all next on the Teammates Mentoring Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Don't go anywhere. More of the Teammates Mentoring Hour is minutes away on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Gray Diesel and Equipment Services is hiring and seeking motivated applicants. Gray offers a second-to-none benefit package that includes health, dental, vision, 401k, paid vacation, and paid holidays. They offer great pay and tuition reimbursement, or a tool purchase program for qualified candidates. It's a fun, friendly team with lots of variety and work assignments, so there's something for everybody. View and apply for their job openings today at grayusa.com or visit them in person just off I-80 and North 56th Street. Come be a part of the Gray difference.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your first alert weather forecast tonight: cloudy, windy, and cold. Overnight lows 13. North winds gusting to 30. Becoming sunny by the afternoon Thursday, but a cold day. Highs 28 and north winds gusting to 35. I'm NTV Chief Forecaster Ken Fountain for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers is all about the good and creating more of it. More drive-through celebrations, more weekend traditions, more family dinners and lunches, more car picnics and road trips, more desserts, maybe more second desserts, more celebrating being together as much as we can. There's always room for more good and more Freddy's. Keep the good going with a taste that brings you back.
You spend more time in your garage than outdoors in the wintertime. Isn't it time to get it organized? Call Travis at Classic Garage Solutions for his variety of organization packages. Turn your garage from a cluttered mess to a clean, organized space that'll be the envy of the neighborhood and something you can be proud of. You don't need to bring the same clutter from last year into the new year. Travis has storage options for cabinets, monkey bar shelving, or slat wall, and more. Call Classic Garage Solutions today at 402-730-1638.
Based right here in Lincoln, Mosaic in Southeast Nebraska is part of a nonprofit, whole-person healthcare organization that serves people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Mosaic's mission is to relentlessly pursue opportunities to empower people. By providing truly personalized services, this empowerment ranges from helping someone communicate for the first time to helping another gain enough independence to secure a job. If you would like to learn more about Mosaic in Southeast Nebraska's services or to donate, please go to mosaicinfo.org/Southeast Nebraska.
Do you know the signs of an opioid overdose? Talk to your physician and pharmacist about naloxone, a drug used to safely reverse an opioid overdose. I'm Dr. Rob Rhodes, a Nebraska family practice physician. Be Opie Ready and download a free overdose support tool, the Opie Rescue app. Search Opie Ready for more information.
Paid for by the CDC. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services and aired in cooperation with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC. And things have obviously been pretty challenging lately with new vehicles, with all the microchip and supply chain issues, but things continue to loosen up as Koppel gets more and more new vehicles in each and every week. We've had many customers also custom order their vehicles. So if you don't see what you want in our current inventory, we can put an order in to get exactly what you want. So go online, reserve your new vehicle at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $22.07 per hour and other select jobs starting at $23.77 per hour, with wages growing up to $29.71 per hour. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
This is the Teammates Mentoring Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Final segment of the Teammates Mentoring Hour for this week. Again, it's been a lot of fun with Jeremy Foote, Marilyn Jones, and Stacy Bleisek here today in studio. We'll be back again next Wednesday, though, with a brand new crew of people, but also great stories going around for them for next week. Look forward to it. By the way, after this, you have Riffin with Raph and AD. They'll be following from 7 to 9 tonight, so don't move your dial at all. Keep it here on 93.7 The Ticket. You were telling Stacy during the break in terms of, I guess sometimes you're surprised when someone tells you they haven't heard about Teammates.
Mm-hmm.
Is that genuine? Like you seriously haven't heard about Teammates?
You know, if they've moved to Lincoln, I get it.
Okay.
But we have some fundraising events a couple times a year. Like, for example, Runs a Day. When Runs donates 10% of their proceeds on one particular day to Teammates. So the Teammates staff goes to the various Runs restaurants, and we just chat with the customers. And that was where I had a particular experience where I've talked to two people in a short time that had never heard of Teammates before. And I don't know where they're from. Maybe they aren't from Lincoln, and I get that. So I do sometimes feel a little surprised when I hear that. But it's also a great opportunity to talk to them about it and let them know. And usually I don't have a lot of time. So I summarize, it's a school-based mentoring program. Do it during the school day. It's only one time a week. It makes a huge impact in the life of a kid.
Have you seen that generate success in terms of, hey, people actually go do it and they thank you for that at all?
Well, not the people I've
Okay.
I haven't talked to that many people.
That's all right.
But we have recruited that way. And honestly, when other people talk to their friends and their family members, we don't actively recruit on the UNL campus or Wesleyan for that matter. But we get it was 2 years ago before the pandemic, I had an average of 6 college students at every single training. And it was just word of mouth. And it's impressive how impactful it is just sharing your story and how much it makes another person want to be a part of Teammates.
Marilyn, again, you like I mentioned earlier, you started this in college. You got involved in college. Now, I'm curious for people out there that even the people that you're now mentoring that are through high school into college. Have you encouraged them to take on mentoring at all, or not?
Oh, I'm about to.
Oh, you're about to. I'm breaking some news here. This is coming up for you.
Well, graduation, start a new job, get married in the fall. It's about time, right?
Right.
Got to submit that application and return the favor.
That's right.
Yeah. Like I said, you don't have to have any particular accolades or skills. You just need to be there for someone. So anyone could do it.
And that would give you the opportunity too to not only just be a mentor for your mentee, but then to help them become a mentor as well. So it's double mentorship almost for you, right?
Yeah.
It goes a long way.
I've seen the generations. Yeah.
We have stories of that.
Yeah. Jeremy, in terms of you, you've worked at Company Cam now. You worked at UNL before. I mean, when you go on Fridays, you said to go talk with your, meet with your mentee. Do people notice that you're leaving the office? Like they ask questions about, hey, what are you doing? And what's kind of the reception if you bring it up at the office about your experience with teammates and your middle schooler right now?
Yeah, I mean, I always obviously had a conversation with my supervisor, like let him know, hey, I'm leaving for 90 minutes or so. Here's where I'm going to be. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there would be, especially at UNL, I felt like there's a lot more people there that were involved in it. So we would kind of have that network. It's interesting you brought up Slack. I don't think we have a channel like that at Company Cam, but it might be something I start because I just found out the other day there was someone in our sales department that was involved in teammates, and I don't think I don't think either of us knew that.
Yeah.
Now it was also, I would say it's a little bit different now. A lot of people work from home, so I don't. But I mean, there could be a lot of people that I work with that maybe they do teammates, and I just wouldn't know because I don't see them come and go from the office. Or, like me, I do it now in the morning, so I actually go. That's the first thing I do, 9 o'clock, and then I get in the office about a little after 10. So, yeah. But I actually interested in starting maybe a channel, maybe not teammate specific, but like mentorship, and just see if they're involved in other programs in Lincoln that kind of do the same thing.
Yeah. And it's not only in Lincoln, right?
Yeah.
Correct. There's over 180 chapters in 5 states.
Yeah.
So
I feel like you'll
wide
definitely
net there. Yeah. A
get
wide
some
net.
people to join that.
Yeah. And it would be good too, to just like, I'm sure, I mean, I've only, luckily, I don't know if lucky is the right word to say, but like, I've only had a couple tough situations with my teammate. And so it would be good to be able to like talk with other people that have maybe been through those same situations and see how they would have handled it.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. That's awesome. I go back to last week real quick before we get out of here. And I just, the story of Doc and Zeke, how unique it is. They bonded over lighting, they're lighting for like theatrical stuff in high school. They both had a history in that, and just find that it's remarkable how many different interests are out there, and video games, social butterfly, there's so many things out there. We're all unique in our own ways, and Teammates finds the best way to put the right person with the right mentee and let it flourish for both people involved. And you can have more than one mentee at one time.
Yes, you can.
If you find it worthwhile, you have enough time, and it is rewarding to you, then you guys will make that happen if it's possible.
That's right.
Once again, LincolnTeammates.org is the website. I'm having it right now. It's very simple. If you're curious, right in the center top of the screen, it says "Become a Mentor." Right there. It could not be easier to find and look. If you're trying to have any information at all, it's right there. LincolnTeammates.org. It has been a lot of fun tonight, guys. We appreciate all the stories. Stacy Bleisek, thank you for coming in. Marilyn Jones, Jeremy Foote, we appreciate that again, and thank you for all you've done with Teammates and for telling the stories and for helping the younger generation become better people and be good role models in their lifetime. So on behalf of Teammates, I thank all of you guys.
Thank you
for that. So
I thank Teammates. Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
well, it's as easy as that. Once again, Stacy Bleisek, Marilyn Jones, Jeremy Foote. I am Jake Sorensen. Up next on Ticket Weeknights is Riffin with Raf and AD. They've got some great guests tonight. That'll do it for the Teammates Mentoring Hour. We will talk with you next week. Have a great night.